What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and it's about time I could bring you the update for Evil Heroes Asterix. So the reason I'm going to call this Evil Heroes with an asterisk is technically the best way to play this deck isn't just pure Evil Heroes. Now I would title it Pure Evil Heroes if it was, but I don't want to make sure at the start of the video you don't get misled. This is a hero deck where at all it can be played at its best possible capabilities, utilising the brand new Evil Heroes themselves. You do go through a lot more of the Evil Heroes and you utilise them more in the combos, which is why it kind of fits within the point to be called Evil Heroes rather than pure. Keep in mind, if you do want to see a pure Evil Hero build, and what I mean by that is you'll probably play Stratos, and that's the only hero outside of Evil Heroes you'll play to get your combos going, then let me know and I'll put it up a little bit later on. Just get the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours and I would do that for you. But the idea is that this deck is built to be as competitive as it possibly can be. Unfortunately, it is still in the phase where it does end on just a fat Nibrock, but you do need to be able to play around with it a little bit more, and once you learn to master the deck, you have a lot more kind of combo orientation and of course some more outcomes if you do get nibbed to still have a presence on the board. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Content? Where did Conto come from? Anyway, at the end of the video, I'll also show you a very basic 1.2 card combo, I guess. Basically, it's Stratos plus 2 discards, and what it sets you up with is you need 1 discard for the overall combo, and then you need 1 discard for the super poly that you're going to be able to set. Yeah, I know, heroes can set super poly, it's great. So, starting off with the Evil Heroes. Now, unfortunately, these are the cards that have gone up in price just for the pure fact that these are the older Evil Heroes. There's a little bit of hype, and of course, you can actually utilise these as a Themesmith engine in Chimera as well, which is really interesting. A Dusted Gold is the go-to card. You can play this at 1 or 3. If you're going to be playing at 3, you're going to be going down more of an Evil Hero route. But the idea is this card can be discarded to add a Dark Fusion or a card that specifically lists Dark Fusion in its text, which is basically all of the new spell cards, especially Evil Assault, which is an insanely powerful card. So that's what you can do with that one. And then, of course, you've got your Evil Hero Sinister Necron that you get to banish it from the graveyard to special summon an Evil Hero monster from your hand or deck except itself. And the best thing about that is it will give you direct access to the brand new Infernal Rider as well. You'll see all of that throughout the combo. Now for the 3 brand new cards, we do play the 1 Evil Hero Dead End Prison, the 1 Evil Hero Toxic Bubble Man, and the 1 Evil Hero Infernal Rider. So I'm going to take you through each of these individual cards. You only really need to play them at 1. The one you're going to want to play the most will be Prison, and you only need to play it at 1. And then Toxic Bubble Man is kind of a, if you want to, you can. If you want a bit more space, you can take it out. But the idea is that the Evil Hero Dead Prison is the best one. So if you control a fusion monster that was special summoned, that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, you get to special this card from the hand for free. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. You get to send a hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you fusion summon a hero monster this turn, this face-up card can be used as a substitute for any one material specifically mentioned on it by name, but all other fusion materials must be correct. So that is, as a preview, how you can actually get into the brand new Evil Hero Infernal Wing Backfire, which I'll talk about a little bit later on, because we will be utilising it in the combo. Your Toxic Bubble is you can special summon this card from the hand, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except heroes. You can only special summon Evil Hero Toxic Bubble once per turn this way. If it is special, you control a fusion monster that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, you get to draw 2 cards. So it's just a nice little upgrade to Bubble Man, but it is very, very specific, and it's one of the ones that you're only really going to want to special summon if you need the fodder on the board, or you're going to want to special summon it on later on to give you a bit of draw power. So it's one of the ones that I can highly understand why people will choose not to play it if they wanted to. It gives you a bit of flexibility. Now, the Evil Hero Infernal Rider, the biggest issue with this one is it is a level 6, so it can get a little bit bricky, but again, it's kind of like Mali in a sense. So if it is normal or special, you get to add Dark Fusion from your deck or grave to the hand. You can banish this card and 4 other monsters. It doesn't need to be hero monsters, so you can banish Ashes if you play them, to then be able to set 1 Super Poly from the deck. You can't special summon except hero monsters, which is absolutely fine, but you can fusion summon monsters that must be fusion summoned with Dark Fusion using other card effects, which is really, really effective, because then that means you can kind of get around some of the locks that cards might have when they say must be fusion summoned with Dark Fusion. These effects last until the end of your opponent's turn, so it means you can Super Poly into a Dark Fusion target during your opponent's turn, which will really catch them off guard. And then, in my opinion, probably the best new card that we got is Triple Evil Assault. So this one allows you to discard 1 card to take a level 4 or lower Evil Hero monster from your deck and either add it to the hand or special summon it. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except heroes. And if it is in the graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you get to banish this card from the graveyard to add a Dark Fusion from your graveyard to the hand. The best thing I love about all of these is it means you don't need to clog your deck down with loads of Dark Fusions. You can just play 1 and just loop it back. Then the other brand new card we play is the one Dark Contact. So you get to activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. You get to fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion by shuffling its materials from your field, graveyard, and or banishment into the deck. It is treated as a fusion summon with Dark Fusion, which is really important. The other effect is you get to add a Supreme King's Castle or a Dark Fusion from your deck to the hand. Now, obviously, this is going to be a little bit more effective in a pure Evil Hero build, because then that's when you're going to be playing specifically the Dark Castle. But for now, because we're not relying on that one, we're only really going to focus on the first effect. We are playing the one Dark Fusion. As much as I would love to play Dark Contact, this is just the card that gets utilised via name through a load of these effects. And for those of you unfamiliar with this one, it lets you send from the hand or your side of the field to the graveyard the fusion materials monsters that are listed on a themed type fusion monster, then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck. This special summon is treated as a fusion summon, and the special summon monster cannot be targeted by your opponent's spell, trap, or card effects this turn. Now, keep in mind, most, if not all, of the Evil Hero monsters are fiends, which are the ones we are playing. I do also like to tinker with Malicious Bane, because this was like the OG one that I got to play with. I say OG one. It was more of the second wave of Evil Heroes. It was still really, really good, and I like how it catches a lot of people off guard, but I'm completely, like, that's a personal opinion. You can take that out if you want to. You don't have to use it. The last brand new Evil Hero card we play is the one Dark Supremacy. I actually really like this card. So you get to target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Dark Fusion and spell cards in your graveyard that mention it in the graveyard. So obviously you've got stuff like Evil Assault, you've got Dark Fusion itself, you'll also have Dark Contact, so great use on there. That's like 3 cards. Negate their effects until the end of the turn. If this card is in the graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you get to banish it, target up to 5 hero monsters in your graveyard and or banishment, and shuffle them into the deck. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it means you no longer need to play 2 of this annoying little bugger. There are ways of being able to get it back into the deck. There's ways to use it as fusion material, so you can very easily afford to play it at 1 now. Great success, but not that it means it cut anything else to the deck down. And then, of course, for the Elemental Heroes, we are playing 2 Stratos. You could arguably play it 3, but because we're leaning into the Evil Heroes a little bit more, this is still one of our ideal starters, and you'll see it in the combo of how important it can be. But the idea behind this card is that it can be, as I've got a damaged sleeve, which is very distracting, bit of OCD there. Obviously, this can be triggered off of the back of the hero lives. It can also be triggered off a special summon as well, which is really important. So the idea is that with your Stratos, you also have other starters that you might want to normal summon instead, but this is still your go-to. And it's one of the ones where you sacrifice a bit of space for the Evil Heroes, but it's one of the first cards I would be putting up to 3 if I did get rid of the Toxic Bubble. The other Elemental Heroes, of course, the one Shadow Mist and the one Elemental Hero Neos. Then for the Destiny Heroes, we are playing triple Destiny Hero Malicious, followed up by the one Denier. And then for the Vision Heroes, triple Faris, double Vion, which is your other ideal starter as well, because it can start sending some of your cards from the deck to the grave. And then, of course, the one Increase. So you do play the range of heroes. This is still a hero deck. It's technically not an Elemental Hero deck. It's probably more of an Evil Hero deck because of the way you play it than anything, which is why it's got the title. So yeah. And then, of course, to kind of combo off with more access to Stratos, Triple Hero Lives. Triple Fusion Destiny, I'm not entirely sold that you need to play this at 3 anymore, but it's still a really kind of good card. If your opponent stops your plays, you can still activate Fusion Destiny, get your Mali into rotation, and keeping in mind that it does lock you into Dark Hero monsters. All of your, well, not all of them actually, sorry, your Neos Lord and Bane are Darks, so it's not the end of the world if they do get locked. But I wouldn't be opposed if you wanted to play this at 2. As you also see that I'm not main decking Plasma in the deck. It can be mained in here. I think you could very easily afford to push this deck to a 45 card deck, which I have done in the past. The issue is, because of all the brand new heroes, they haven't really replaced many heroes you're going to be playing in the main deck anyway. You're just adding more heroes to it, which means the space for like hand traps has definitely got a lot shorter, and the draw power is a little shorter as well. So unless you start cutting edges like the Toxic Bubble Man, get it out of here, and then unless you start cutting other cards down, that's when you start opening up a bit more space to keep it at 40. So you could very easily go, okay, cool, get rid of one Fusion Destiny, in comes a hand trap, in comes a board breaker, and work it from there. We've then got 2 Mask Change. Like, unfortunately, Darklaw is not a game winner or a game stopper anymore. Just because Malice is running around, they actually probably thrive on it. So it's one of the cards you probably won't be leaning into as heavily. It can be quite annoying against Ryzeal, but they can still build a board to out it very easily as well, or negate it. So it's one of the ones that you don't want to rely on it too heavily, which is this is one of the sacrificial elements of the deck where you can afford to cut this down to 2. 1 Reinforcement of the Army, get you more direct access to Stratos and Vion and everything else. Foolish Burial to get you into some of your evil heroes, to start like your Dark Necrum and of course your Mali. 1 Poly, pretty easy, explainable on that one, and 1 Miracle Fusion, followed up by the 1 Favourite Contact. And then the last 4 cards that I play is the 1 Super Poly, because you set it off of the Evil Hero Rider. And then I went with Triple Droplet just as the board breaker option. Like I said, the space in this deck is so incredibly tight. I could probably fit 3 more cards in here, and if I did, that would probably be imperms to bump it up to a 45 card deck. It's currently 42. I still need to test it. I still need to play around with it to get it into its best position. But the idea is that Droplet I felt was the most effective for the competitive environment right now, because you can very easily OTK with heroes. So being able to have a card like Droplet is going to be more beneficial than something like a Dart Ruler or anything else. Moving on to the extra deck, so for the 3 brand new Evil Heroes, we've got the 1 Neos Lord, we've got the 1 Backfire, and we've got the 1 Darkest Night. Now, Darkest Night is flexible. You don't have to play it if you don't want to. It really is up to you. This one requires a Fiend plus a Warrior, and it must be special summoned with Dark Fusion. Monster your opponent's controls lose attack equal to the total original attack of the materials used for this card's fusion summon. It can make 2 attacks on each battle phase, and if this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field via an opponent's card effect, you target a Fiend or Warrior in your graveyard and special it in defense. Your Backfire, which you actually will probably summon a bit more than the Knight, which is why this can become a second Dark Lord if you want to. It can very easily open up for a Avion Blast as well. There is flexibility in the extra deck. It really does come down to personal preference. So this one needs specifically Avion or Burstinatrix plus a hero monster. So before everyone jumps to conclusion and goes, all right, well, how the hell do you make it? I didn't see a Burstinatrix or an Avion in the deck. Well, that's where the Prism comes into play, because as you would remember earlier, the Prism can actually be utilized for any name. It can be a name replacement for any card that specifically mentions it via name. So this can become Burstinatrix or Avion. And then all you need is another hero monster. So it must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, and if it is special summoned, you get to add a Dark Fusion or a card that mentions it from your deck or grave back to the hand, except fusion monsters. So the fact of the matter is, it lets you add a card that mentions it, so you can recycle any of your Dark Fusion cards, which is insane. And then if your hero monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 2100 damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect once per turn, so it's a nice little burn con option as well. And then of course the Evil Hero Neos Lord. This one requires Neos or a fusion monster that mentions it, plus an effect monster on the field. It must be special summoned with Dark Fusion. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. And if this card is special summoned or a monster or monsters is sent to your opponent's graveyard while this card is on the field, you get to target a face-on monster your opponent controls and basically take control of it until the end of the just take control of it permanently, sorry. But you can only use each effect once per turn. Now the heroes are still missing. Like, they've got the lock. You can only summon heroes for the entire turn or the rest of the turn or whatever. But they still don't have that Omni Negate. It really needs, just not even a non-negate, just give me a monster effect negate. Let me negate that bloody Nibiru, okay? That's all I want. And then the other evil hero that I play is the 1 Malicious Bane. Like, you don't have to play this, but this requires an evil hero and a level 5 or higher monster. And because you're playing more evil heroes, it's a lot easier to make. It must be special summoned with Dark Fusion. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. And during your main phase, you get to destroy all monsters your opponent controls with attack equal to or less than this card. And it gains 200 attack for each monster destroyed this way. You cannot declare an attack for the rest of the turn except with hero monsters, which again is absolutely fine because we're only playing heroes. And then of course we've got the 1 Dark Claw, pretty standard on that one. 1 Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. 1 Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. I still like to play Absolute Zero. It is quite tricky because the only way you're going to make that now that we're not playing Liquid Soldier is off of the back of... Once I find it, where may you be, is off of the back of your Toxic Bubble. So if you don't play Toxic Bubble, you don't play this. I just quite like the option of being able to destroy my opponent's board, which is quite entertaining. Then of course we've got the 1 Sunriser, 1 Infernal Rage, 1 DPE, and then for the Link monsters, Infernal Devicer, obviously search out your Neos. Cross Crusader, really deserves a foil upgrade. The 1 Wonder Driver, and then again another flexible option, so this is what I was saying, that there are flexible options in the extra deck, is the 1 Dread Decimator. So if I was to say there was flexible options, if you're like, oh, I really want to play a second Dark Claw, or I want to play a Acid, or I want to play a Avion, it really is up to you, but the flex spots you can mess around with is a Decimator, but I still really like the card. You can also mess around with your Darkest Night. You can take that out if you want to. So there's 2 definite spots you can play around with, and then Acid if you choose not to go down a water route, really is up to you. Sorry, Zero if you want to go down that route instead. So that's it for the entire profile. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the 1 card combo, well, 1.2 card combo off of the back of Stratos, just to give you something to kind of get started with and see where you can utilize it. And it was pretty much this combo that I saw that allowed you to get the most of it. Now this one, just so that I get the credit correctly, because this one wasn't mine, this one came from Jaden BR on YouTube. He's actually got a really good video. It's called Evil Heroes 19 New Combos with New Support. And it basically is a 26-minute video that has all of them. I'll try and put the link in the description below. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, reset the board state, and then I'll show you the combo that utilizes this, plus 2 discards to pretty much set you up everything you need. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so this is going to be a long combo, so hopefully you stick with me and I'm going to take it through step by step. So you start off with Stratos and then 2 blank cards. You're going to normal summon the Stratos. The card you're going to be searching out more times than not in this Evil Hero variant is going to be your Evil Hero Dusty Gold, unless you've already got it, and then great success. You're going to discard the Dusted Gold to grab you your Evil Assault. And then you're going to be able to activate this to discard 1 card, which is where one of the blanks comes into play, to then take a level 4 or lower Evil Hero monster from the deck and either add it to the hand or special summon it. So we're going to special summon out our Prison. Prison's effect, of course, if you control a fusion monster that must be fusion summoned or special summoned with Dark Fusion, you get to special summon this card from the hand, which obviously we're not doing it that way. But the benefit of this one is it lets you send a hero monster from the deck to the graveyard. So you're going to send the good old faithful Mali. Then use Mali's effect by banishing it to get you a second copy of Mali from the deck to the board. Just going to move them out of the way so we have a bit more space to visualize all of these. And then what you're going to do is you're going to link off your Stratos plus your Mali. As they are both warriors, this is a rock. Very important, you can't use this to get into the next card we're going to work through, which is going to be your Cross Crusader. Cross Crusader will bring back the Mali, destroy it said Mali to grab you your Faris. You'll then be able to banish the second Mali from the graveyard to get you the good old-fashioned third Mali, which is a great successor. This is now back to 3 on the list, which I love it. And then what you can do is you're going to use 2 hero monsters, so you can utilize your Mali and your Cross Crusader to get you into your Infernal Devicer. You're going to use Infernal Devicer's effect to allow you to add your Neos from deck to the hand by revealing, also get to it, your Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, because obviously it lists Neos in its text. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use your Vision Hero Faris to summon itself down by discarding the Neos. Then use Faris' effect to put Increase into the Spell and Trap Zone, and then Increase's effect to tribute off the Faris to then summon out the Vion. Vion's effect will then send the Evil Hero Sinister Necron from deck to grave, and then you use Vion's effect there to banish your Faris from the graveyard, and this will then allow you to grab your Polymerization. Then what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to banish the Evil Necron from the graveyard. This will then allow you to summon out your Evil Hero Infernal Rider. On normal or special, you get to add a Dark Fusion from the deck or grave to the hand, so you're going to grab your Dark Fusion from the deck. Great success. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to activate Polymerization. You're going to fuse your Infernal Rider plus Increase or Vion, either or. And this is going to allow you to get into your Elemental Hero Sunrise. Sunrise effect will now trigger to grab you the Miracle Fusion. Before you use the Miracle Fusion, use Vion plus your Infernal Devicer to get you into your Wonder Driver, because you're going to want to recycle this in order to get you the best possible outcome. You're then going to activate your Miracle Fusion. This is going to use Elemental Hero Neos and then another monster with a different attribute. So you can probably go for your Stratos to keep it very easy. You're going to banish both of those from the graveyard to grab you your Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage. And then, of course, you're going to be able to trigger off Chainlink 1, your Wonder Driver. Chainlink 2 will be your Infernal Rage. This will allow you to set the Miracle Fusion, and this will allow you to grab the Favorite Contact. This is when we're going to start getting a little bit spicy, so you're now going to be able to activate the Dark Fusion, and then you're going to be able to treat your Evil Hero Dead End Prison as a name listed on a card plus a hero monster. So you're going to want to use your Elemental Hero Infernal Rage plus your Dead Prison, and your Dead Prison is going to act as either Avion or Burstinatrix to get you into the new Evil Hero Infernal Wing Backfire. You're then going to use Backfire's effect to grab you your Dark Supremacy from the deck, and this is going to give you the ability to negate face-up cards your opponent controls, up to the number of Dark Fusion and spells that mention it in your graveyard, which at that exact moment in time, you will have exactly Dark Fusion itself, and then on top of that, you're also going to have your Evil Assault, as it does mention Dark Fusion. Let me just double check that one, but discard a card, yeah, add Dark Fusion specifically, so you're covered on both of that. And then what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to banish even more cards from the graveyard. So Lancia is going to be a pain in the backside. So you're going to use the Infernal Rider's ability. You're going to be able to banish this card from the graveyard and 4 other monsters from the graveyard to set a Super Poly. So banish this and whatever 4 monsters you have left to set you Super Poly. Now keep in mind, it's very important that the floating effect of this card allows you to use cards that can be special, cannot be special summoned except by using Dark Fusion. You can use them with normal fusion effects. So it allows us to use Super Poly in order to complete that summon. So we're going to be able to set the Dark Supremacy. We've got a favourite contact, we've got the Super Poly, which is what the last discard in our hand is going to be for. Keeping in mind, you should technically, if this is your starting hand of 5, still have 2 more cards in your hand. So if you did want to play another hero monster in rotation, that can get you access to Fusion Destiny, that can get you into DPE, which is the one risk of not playing Prisma in the deck, but you can very easily do so if you want to. It really is up to you. Now I'm going to play this through our opponent's turn just so you have a bit of an idea of how this will work. Mainly the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do and resolve first is going to be your favourite contact. And the reason you're going to do that is it lets you special summon a fusion monster from the extra deck that mentions a hero monster as material, ignoring its summoning conditions, by placing the fusion material as mentioned on it on the bottom of the deck. So that will allow you from the Banish Zone as well. That will allow you to recycle your Infernal Rage and of course any other monster, but mainly your elemental hero Neos to get you into your Wingman. Now, let me just double check the Wonder Driver. I'm pretty sure it recycles. If a hero monster is normal or special to a zone this card points to, target a poly spell card or fusion spell card in the grave or a quick play change to then reset it. So this will actually allow you to reset your polymerization. Not that you really need it. Or a Dark Fusion if you wanted to. Really is up to you. But the idea is we are now allowed to use cards that can only be special summoned via Dark Fusion by any of our fusion spells. So that's where Super Poly is going to come into play. Because now what's going to happen, not only will Neos attempt to negate the board if you want it to or whatever, but as soon as your opponent puts an effect monster on the board, you can go Super Poly, discard that last random card you had in your hand to use the Elemental Hero Shining Wingman and then 1 effect monster on the board to get you your evil hero Neos. In doing so, obviously this requires Elemental Hero Neos or a fusion monster that mentions it. There you go. Plus an effect monster on the field, so obviously you can use your monsters or your opponents. This will then allow you to take control. So if this card is special summoned or a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard while this card is on the field, you get target a face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it. And the best thing about that one as well is this one is if your hero monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 2100 damage. So you've stolen one of your opponent's monsters. Just going to use this dice here to say you've stolen a card. You've destroyed cards and you've negated cards because you can very easily activate a Dark Supremacy at any point you want to. You've used your Super Poly, you still have 2 more cards in your hand that could have extended your plays. You've obviously got Sunrise, which will cause issues when you start attacking during the next turn. You've got Miracle Fusion and Poly to go again the next turn as well. So you've got loads to kind of play through and play on with. It's absolutely insane, which is what makes it a little bit kind of cool. And it's kind of what made this combo stand out to me because I was like, okay, this combo is a little bit different from the ones that I've seen previously. And it actually justifies using 2 of the new Evil Hero fusions. Like a lot of the other decks don't actually even utilize the Evil Heroes themselves. They're just like, yeah, we'll use the brand new main deck cards to get us where we want to go, but we don't really need to use the extra deck. And I was like, that's no fun. Let's use the new Evil Heroes as much as we possibly can. Anyway, I hope this has been informative for you. I hope this has given you a couple of ideas on the build as well, and I hope it's given you a bit of an introduction into what the combo and the deck can do and produce. I think it's an incredibly fun deck. Like, I've always loved Heroes, and the fact that Evil Heroes have now got support, I can't wait. We already know they're getting more support in the next set of Alliance Insight. I can't wait to see how much further they will push these. All it's going to take is one day for Heroes to get a Monster Negate or an Omni Negate, and it will just come even better. Now, I know before everyone gets to me, oh, Contrast Heroes are Negate as well. It's like, yeah, but like, how hard is it to get that contrast into rotation? Like, let's not be crazy here, okay? We want to be able to have not even a normal summon or special monster. We want a fusion monster that allows us to negate. Like, that's what we want. We're looking ourselves into Heroes, all right? We're putting the hard graft in to play the deck that we love. We should deserve a negate in one way or another. Anyway, I've rabbled on long enough. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, God, I'm having a tongue tie this one. By all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.